Performing shoulder flexion liftoffs. Shoulder flexion liftoffs are shoulder flexion, that is going towards an overhead movement from the front of your body from a quadruped or a collapsed quadruped position. I've got Ian here to demonstrate to help you find your current level of mobility. So you can start in this quadruped position, which is just an all fours position, and I would suggest starting with one arm, maybe propped up on a couple of yoga blocks. So Ian's gonna reach out, put your flat palm on these yoga blocks, and attempt a shoulder flexion liftoff. So raise your arm up into shoulder flexion. So you can see that he's got a solid 6 or 8 inches of lift here. So what I would suggest is if this is too easy, sit back, your hips back, and try to get into deeper shoulder flexion. So he's still got a solid 6 or so inches of liftoff. So I'm gonna ask him to sit back even further and attempt another liftoff still. You can see that his liftoff, just hold it right there, is getting lower and lower. What we're looking for is 2 or 3 inches of a liftoff. So if this is still too easy, he can sit back further. When you reach a point where it's too easy and you're not able to make your surface any higher, you can drop down to the non-working elbow. So I'll have him drop down to his right elbow and try another liftoff. There we go. So we found about a 3-inch liftoff. So lift, hold, 1, 2, 3, and lower back down. If he had better shoulder flexion, his next steps would be to drop his forehead to the floor and then lower the surface he's working from. So just for the sake of the video, I'll have you go ahead and do that. So take your forehead towards the floor, and I'm gonna remove a block and see if you can get lift off from there. So you can see now he's really within that 2 or 3 inch realm. His shoulder is shaking, his arm is shaking, trying to get that lift off. So go again, 1, 2, 3, and lower back down. So using a couple of yoga blocks, play with your position, find out where your 2 or 3 inch end range of motion is. That is shoulder flexion liftoffs.